killed all 11 players on one team. The most fatalities in a single sports match occurred in the Congo in 1998, and it wasn't martial arts or motocross. As a game of soccer, it was sitting at a draw of 1-1. A freak bolt of lightning cracked an almighty bolt of destruction directly onto the field, and in the strangest twist of fate, killed all 11 players on one team, while leaving the other team unscathed. The bizarre nature of the event led to accusations of witchcraft, with many believing black magic had been employed by the surviving team to take out their opponents. But not surprisingly, this hasn't been proven in a court of law. Hey guys, welcome to Bent Planet, where I tell you true stories of humans in abnormal predicaments. Tales that will twist your mind. And here are more of the strangest deaths that you probably haven't heard of. If you love having bizarre true stories up your sleeve to tell your friends over drinks, hit subscribe and I'll supply you with a plentiful bounty. Calm down, mate. All right, get comfortable. Are you ready to hear a story? Gary Hoy was a lawyer in Toronto who got a little too excited about the unbreakable windows in his office high-rise back in 1993. Wanting to demonstrate how strong the glass was, he threw himself against a window on the 24th floor. He was right, the glass didn't break, but he did cause the entire glass panel to pop out of its frame, following it to the street below where he died on impact. A biology teacher in Bulgaria in 2008, Lydia Tsekova was with her husband and their friend when she needed to throw out some toxic chemicals. Finding a drainage shaft nearby the school, all three of them got to work, pouring the flammable liquids through the holes of a large heavy metal drain cover. Unbeknownst to them, the chemicals were reacting with gases already in the sewer below, and with no warning, an explosion blasted beneath them, shooting the drain cover up like a cork out of a champagne bottle, cutting through the air at such speed that Lydia's head was sliced clean off her body, decapitated by the heavy object, while the flames caused her husband to suffer major burns and her friend was knocked into a coma. The guy that owns Segway Incorporated, the company that makes these, was riding his own personal Segway along a coastal walkway when he made a fatal error of judgment. While reversing to allow another man and his dog to pass by, Jimmy Hesselden backed over a cliff and plummeted to his death in 2010. The Segway did not survive. In 2009, Larry Murillo Moncada's parents were stricken with worry. They had last seen him run out of their house into a snowstorm with nothing on his feet, and there was a deep concern for his mental welfare. But after an extensive search by police, family, and the local neighbourhood, not a trace of Larry was found, and their worry turned to grief as years passed by with no word. 10 years later, a local supermarket where Larry had been employed decided to close down, and they came across a bizarre discovery while removing their cooling fridges. Somehow, after climbing on top of the large cold storage container, Larry had fallen down the 12-foot narrow space behind the unit, awkwardly trapped where his shouts were muffled. When he was found, his decomposed body was in the same clothes his parents had last seen him wearing 10 years earlier. 16-year-old Jonathan Capewell's parents could not only smell deodorant pouring out of his room as he covered his body in its scent, but he was using so much of the aerosol spray that they could literally taste it in their mouths as they walked around their home. They repeatedly told him to slow down, but his obsession with personal hygiene was hard to shake, until they found Jonathan's lifeless body on his bedroom floor one day. An autopsy revealing the buildup of butane and propane in his blood after excessive use of deodorant had caused him to have a heart attack in his prime teenage years. When Michael Godwin's death sentence by electrocution was reduced to a life imprisonment in 1989, he was overcome with relief, knowing that he could live out the rest of his days with all his basic needs being met. One day, while attempting to fix a broken television, he bit into some wires hoping to fuse them together. But with the TV plugged in, an electric current immediately ran through him and into the metal toilet seat he was sitting on, creating the perfect circuit to take his life by electrocution. Of all the things that might concern your safety when pulling back the covers to get into bed, Jeffrey Bush probably didn't take this outcome into consideration. As he slept soundly one night in Tampa, Florida in 2013, the earth below him opened up as a huge sinkhole swallowed his entire bedroom. The chasm stretched 15 feet wide and 20 feet deep, and at just 37 years old, Jeffrey's body was never recovered. Giving someone a wedgie may seem like child's play, at worst resulting in schoolyard embarrassment. But in 2013, Brad Davis was handed a 30-year prison sentence for giving what is considered an atomic wedgie. After knocking his father-in-law Denver unconscious in a drunken brawl, Brad then pulled his stepdad's underwear up and over his head before walking away. The material straining against his neck and face was so tight that Denver was unable to breathe and died of asphyxiation. In 2014, Chinese chef Peng Fan was making a specialty dish that used the meat from a spitting cobra. After cutting off the poisonous snake's head, Peng went about preparing the rest of the meal, slicing up the body and boiling it for the expensive soup many consider a delicacy. 20 minutes later, as guests in the restaurant waited patiently for their high-end dish, they heard screams coming from the kitchen. As Peng had casually picked up the cobra's head to toss it into a bin, the snake bit his hand, injecting his body with its deadly venom. Reptiles can function up to an hour after being decapitated, and the snake's reflexes were still strong enough to take down its predator. Peng was unable to get anti-venom in time before he joined the snake on the other side. Alright, thanks for watching guys. If you haven't seen part 1, there are 10 more crazy stories right here. Also check out some longer form stories of bizarre human predicaments here. Subscribe and hit the bell for future stories, and please give the video a like if you made it this far. Stay safe out there, and as always, stay bent.